Welcome back to Cut the BS, Build the Dream. I am your host, Brittney Kosev, and today we are going deep. Here's my mantra for 2025 and beyond. What got me here won't get me there. Let's sit with that. What got me here won't get me there. This isn't a knock on your past self. This is a call to honor what got you here and then let it go if it no longer serves who you're becoming, your next level of life. Business, leadership, alignment. It's not asking for more effort alone. It's asking for more evolution. And today we're talking about how to elevate with intention, with identity, and with a deeper connection to your highest self. Let me say this up front. If you're listening to this episode, you're already on that path. People don't seek out conversations like this or even stumble onto them unless something inside of them already knows there is more peace, more power, more prosperity, more purpose, and a more aligned version of you just waiting to be uncovered. So let's get into the meat of it. First off, we have to talk about survival, because you cannot build your dream life in survival. And many of us have become experts at surviving. We knew how to hustle. We know how to push through, how to carry it all without breaking. But survival mode is reactive. And while it might have been what got you through, it won't get you to that vision of you in the future. Survival doesn't allow for intentional growth. It's not where strategy lives. It's not where expansion happens. It's about avoiding collapse, not chasing purpose. And your dream life, that beautiful, soul-aligned, wildly fulfilling life, it won't be built in the same energy that built your coping skills. It requires something so much more. It requires presence, clarity, boundaries, and really a true identity. So let's take it back to someone who knew how to reinvent himself entirely. That's Napoleon Bonaparte. We know him as a military genius, an emperor. But what we didn't know, and what I didn't know, is that he didn't come from power. He was a broke outsider with no real elite access. He didn't have support. There was no status involved. But what was cool is he outgrew his environment before it ever recognized his worth. He didn't wait around for external validation. He started asking himself, not what can I do now, but what would a ruler decide? How would a strategist move? He rewrote his self-image before the world gave him permission to do it. And that's what you're being asked to do today. Not prove yourself, but become aligned with who you know you're meant to be. So let's meet that highest version of you. So who is she? Who is he? What do they value? What do they no longer explain away? How do they lead? How do they sleep? How do they set boundaries? How do they speak to themselves? Because this version of you already exists. They're not off in the future somewhere. They're just waiting on the other side of clarity. Let me share something personal. In fact, I've never shared this story before. About 4 years ago, I was in a very toxic relationship. It was abusive, sometimes physically, always verbally, and it damaged me. But the worst part is it was damaging my kids. There was one night I'll never forget. We were arguing. He pushed me really hard in the kitchen. He was so drunk. I don't even know if he fully understood what he was doing. And I flew into the kitchen cabinets and I hit my head and woke up with this massive knot on my skull. But yet I still didn't leave. Not then. I didn't think I was worthy of love in a better form, but I did know that my kids were. They deserved a better home, a better mother. And even though I couldn't find the strength for myself, I found it for them. And that cracked the door open. My friends knew, which was the real kicker, right? They told me after every fight, every red flag, you have got to go. My best friend Carly and I even stopped talking for months because she couldn't watch what I was doing. But I wasn't listening and I couldn't hear it. Not until something inside of me truly shifted. When I finally left, it didn't feel like freedom. It felt like a fog lifting, like waking up. I started seeing myself differently, though, not as a woman who had failed, but as a woman who had survived. And that survival, it became strength, and strength became self-worth. But that wasn't the finish line. That was just the doorway opening. It was the moment I decided that things had got to change. And it started with awareness. And then I was started becoming who I am now. I'm still not to my highest self, but your highest self isn't found in perfection. They are revealed in the first moment you say, I may not know exactly who I'm becoming, but I do know who I am no longer willing to be. I was no longer willing to be in that relationship, to be a mother who put their kids in that relationship. And your highest self is through the door of awareness, through your beginning steps towards him or her. That version of you is waiting for you to get crystal clear on what you're leaving behind so that you can finally step into everything you're meant to become. All right. But this doesn't just stop in relationships or apply to just relationships. Obviously, guys, your highest self shows up in business, in how you lead, in the money you make, how you make decisions. They don't hustle from desperation. They don't take every client just to survive the month. They make decisions from a place of alignment, a place of power, not panic. They're not building a brand. They are the brand. They don't shrink to stay relatable. They expand so that they can lead with integrity. They invest with purpose. They create with clarity, and they don't need outside fucking approval because they already have chosen themselves. All right. So now that you know all that, let's get clear on your highest self right now. This is not a checklist. It's not a Pinterest board. It's not a compilation of images in a magazine. No, it's not a caption. This is your inner vision guide, who you are becoming and what's that life, that version of you lives. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to visualize a full day in the life of your highest self. It could be a random Tuesday. What do they wake up to? What are they wearing? What kind of relationships does he or she have? What kind of work do they do? How do they move through the day when there's stress, disappointment, opportunity? Get so damn specific that you can see it. Let it be real in your imagination. Then write it down. Speak it. Make it something that you can return to again and again and again. I've also created a guided visualization to help you connect with your highest self even more deeply. I thought it might be helpful for you guys. You'll find the link in the show notes. It's short, it's powerful, and it's meant to realign your mindset, your energy, and your inner knowing. It's really to help you get clear on who that person is. And I recommend doing it every few days for the next few weeks. The more clearly you see that version of you, the easier it's going to become to make decisions from that identity. All right. But here's the thing. Resistance is going to show up, and that's just proof you're growing, right? Once you start writing and visualizing your highest self, resistance is going to pop up. It's your brain's number one priority. It's not transformation, it's survival. So when you try to grow, it panics. It's like, danger, change detected, abort mission. But here's the thing, that danger, it isn't real. It's just different. So what do we say to those fear-based thoughts when they creep in? Well, in the words of Ariana Grande from her fabulous song called Thank You Next, that's what you say. Thank you next. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, brain. But next, I'm choosing alignment. I'm choosing growth. Neuroplasticity means you can rewire your brain through repetition and intention. And so every time you visualize your highest self, you're reprogramming your identity from the inside out. So freaking cool. All right. Now, here's the way I do it. You don't have to do it like me, but this is what I do. First off, I visualize my highest self. I write it out in detail, and I've already written this many times. In fact, now I'm just journaling to her. Write it out in detail. Use the guided visualization every few days to stay aligned. And if ritual speaks to you, add a ritual, light a candle, do the visualization practice, sit in the feelings for as long as you can and as long as you'd like, then blow out the candle. Let it symbolize the release of survival and the beginning of walking into your highest self. This is your season of becoming, not trying, not chasing, becoming. You're not behind, you're building. You're not broken, you are breaking through. And I'm not telling you to become someone new. What you're doing is you are becoming the best version of who you already know you're capable of. So if this episode stirred something in you, share it with someone who's ready to rise. And don't forget, check the show notes for your highest self visualization. Until next time, cut the BS, build the dream, and let's walk boldly towards the version of you that's already waiting.